Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday and Friday. In today's video, I figured I would recreate a makeup look that I posted on TikTok. It's this one right here. I'll have it playing kind of in silent while I'm talking to you guys. In that video, I love the look. I was using a bunch of high-end makeup products though, so I wanted to show you guys that same look but in like a drugstore alternative. And since TikTok saw the look first, I figured I would do the drugstore alternative for you guys first because you guys are the OGs. So you guys are gonna see that makeup look but in a full drugstore version, including like the face, lips, eyes, everything. After filming this, I realized that I think I like this drugstore version more than the original. Please keep watching, but before you go anywhere, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every Wednesday and Friday when I upload. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I'm so active on there when I'm not posting on here. I post about 3 TikToks a day and 1 reel a day. I love you guys so much, and let's get into the video. I'm gonna start off by priming my skin using my little absolute favorite primer at the moment, and it's the NYX Marshmallow Primer. It literally just leaves your face so smooth and so tacky. I'm obsessed. Also, I need to put something on my lips because they are so dry and cracked. You guys, they were literally purple this morning. I'm gonna go in with some of my $4 Aquaphor lip balm. You can literally get this from Amazon. I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal True Match lotion to use as a base. This stuff is so similar to my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I literally did a TikTok showing them side by side, and you literally, like, it's so hard to tell the difference. So I'm gonna go in with this. I'll apply it with a brush so I get a more even. We'll go in with a foundation over top of this. I just love the glow that this gives the skin. My skin needs all the glow it can get right now because it is dry and just so cold here. What brush do I want to use? With this e.l.f. brush, gives your skin the most beautiful, just healthy glow. I normally will just wear this with some concealer and call it a day. From there, I'm gonna use my Got To Be Glued spiking gel to gel down my eyebrow. I'm sure as many of you guys already know, this is meant for your hair, but I've just been using it in my brows. Only like $4 to $6. I get mine from Amazon. I always back comb my brows first and then coat it upward to get that more feathery look. I was thinking about it today. Brows and nails are the 2 things that I feel like I love done most, but I hate the process of like going and getting them done because you literally have to go like every 2 to 3 weeks. And my brow hairs just grow back so fast that they're so hard to maintain even with a tweezer. My nails, I normally paint them myself, but it's just been a really busy couple of weeks, so I just haven't gotten around to doing it. It drives me crazy because I love the look of having them done, but I hate doing them, and then I also hate spending the money to get them done because they don't last a long time. $60 every 2 weeks adds up. Let me know if you guys have any like brow recommendations though, like if you know of any like good at-home brow kits or just like something else beside the little facial razors that I could use on my brows to maintain them. I'm gonna come back to the face in a second, but for now I'm going to prime my eyelids, and to prime them I'm just gonna use my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. How have you guys been? How is your new year? How are your resolutions going? I feel like I've actually been doing relatively good this new year. Started going to the gym, I started working out. I'm like very proud of myself for that. I've been trying to be more mindful of what I eat. Not necessarily depriving myself, but I've been trying to think of my food as fuel and just making sure that I'm giving myself enough like good fuel and nutrients every single day. I've never looked at food like that before. I just ate to fill me up when I was hungry. And I would eat relatively healthy, but when I thought of food as fuel and trying to get as much like nutrients and vitamins and all that in my day-to-day diet, it definitely forced me to try to incorporate more of a variety of like fruits and veggies in my diet regularly. That's been like important, and I feel like a big improvement. I'm just going to set them with my Kokie loose powder. I'm just taking any sort of fluffy brush and just pressing that all over. I'm gonna quickly fill up my brows. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Total Temptation brow pencil, and then I'll take this NYX little felt tip eyebrow pen to define the bottom of my brow and create like those little hair-like strokes. I ended up just going in with the brow pen. I'll probably touch them up a little bit later later. I forgot how dark that brow pen is, so my brows look a little bit intense, but I'm thinking once I do the powder, foundation, and all that, they'll kind of tone down. So in the initial TikTok, I used my favorite palette, the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. This is such a good palette, however, it definitely is an investment. It is $48. Thinking of different drugstore options, and another palette that I use often is my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which if you have that, but then if you don't have that, I mean, that's close to the same price point as the Makeup by Mario one. You just get more colors in that. So if you don't have that palette, then I would recommend getting the Kokie Artist palette. I believe this palette is $14, which is literally like a fraction of both of those palettes. They have a lot of similar shades. They're not going to be the exact same. I love the Makeup by Mario one because there's like an infinite amount of transition shades. With this palette, you're definitely more limited, but you have a variety, and I think that this is a really good palette to have if you aren't a makeup artist and you just want to have like a couple of like good small palettes that aren't overwhelming in your collection. So because of that, I am going to be using the Kokie palette today, and these shades blend out so pretty. So I'm going to start off with this shade, but I'm going to lightly tap into this one too. I feel like this will give me that mustardy undertone that I had in the original look. And I'm just going to apply that with a really fluffy blending brush. Like I mentioned in the video, I literally just toss that like in my crease with no rhyme or reason. And I always like to take a straight edge because it just makes your life so much easier, keeping everything super uniform. So I literally, like with this brush, I don't have to think about it. I'm just going crazy all over. Ooh, I forgot how pigmented these shadows were. The Makeup by Mario palette, the shadows aren't as pigmented, but I like it because they still blend out really nice. But the shades in the Kokie palette are very pigmented and they still blend out really good. So ever since the new year started, I've been really into, one of my New Year's goals was to stop all negative self-talk and to start like just speaking life into myself. I feel like I'm really good at encouraging and motivating other people, but when it comes to myself, I never take my own advice. I always have all these great ideas for other people to do, but when it comes to me, I always find that I'm underqualified, not qualified. Like I nitpick everything apart, and so I stopped doing that at the start of this year, and literally it has made just such a difference, big and small. And it's crazy what your mind does and how it controls different. Literally at the start of this year, I've just noted growth in so many aspects by just not giving into negative self-talk. So now I'm going to take the straight edge again, and so now with a smaller fluff brush, I'm going to take this shade only this time, and I'm going to work it on like this outer third of my eyelid and then blend it up into my crease. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you always hear about how your mentality and all that can control just so much in life and how you're doing and how you go about your day-to-day. Another thing that I tend to do, which I still am working on, is like I make fun of myself a lot. I do it a lot. It's funny. I'm very self-aware, but I'm gonna try to stop doing that too. I mean, we're made in God's image, so it's like when you're saying something bad about yourself, you're saying something bad about God's creation. So then from there, I took a color like this mixed with a color like this. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I took that with a shader brush. I'm going to use these two in the Kokie palette. And again, with the straight edge, this is where we're going to start to get that smoky eyeliner look. We're just going to start tapping it along the lash line. And then as I get to the end here, I'm just going to kind of like press it into the straight edge. And once most of the product is there, that's when I'm just going to flick it up. But yeah, so I encourage you guys, if you're a person that tends to doubt yourself, or you just always talk negatively about yourself, you know, don't give yourself enough credit, you give up, try, just like I'm telling you, please try cutting out any negative self-talk, and anytime that you find yourself doing it, try to negate it with something really positive about yourself. You have the ability to speak life into us or to literally speak death over the plans that God has in store for us, just because we're giving into the lies of the enemy and talking so negatively about ourselves. All right, so in the TikTok, when I was using like pretty much mostly high-end makeup, I went in with my MAC Hyper Real Glow palette and I took these two colors for my lid shade. The Kokie palette literally has a shade that looks just like those colors combined, and it's right here. This one, I was originally gonna use my Wet n Wild highlighter Petal Power, I believe it is, all over my lid, but since Kokie has it, that's what we're gonna use. And I'm gonna use this shader brush by Morphe. I always coat both sides of the brush first, and I just spray it with some setting spray. I always start it most intense in this inner part, and then I just feather it out, kind of like beams right in there. And then I kind of lift my brush and only use the tip part of it as I come out this way, doing super light pressure, and then that way I'm not messing up this lower portion. I'm only using the tip and I'm just lightly spreading it around, again using super light pressure, just doing these little tapping motions. I'll definitely go back and touch up some of the eyeshadow in a second, so don't worry if you got it a little bit messed up. You could literally just go back over with that exact shade, and we're gonna go in with liner, so don't stress it too much right now. I'm saying this as if you guys are literally like step by step doing it with me as you're watching this tutorial. Who knows, one day you might revert back to this tutorial and you might be doing it with me. So again, wiggling it so it's most intense in there. You see how you get that really strong beam by just wiggling it back and forth, and then now picking up the tip of my brush. I'm only using the tip, I'm lightly just kind of like carving out my crease, and then I just kind of drag it down onto my eyelid. I'll flip my brush over once I run out of shadow on one side, just feather it out. I'm gonna take the tip of my shader brush, and with a little bit more of that dark brown we were using earlier, I'm gonna super lightly tap it along my lash line. You could literally stop here, and I feel like this is a really basic eye look. It would look a lot better once I like clean up and the rest of my makeup's done. But you could stop here if you don't like too much shimmer or glitter. But if you like glitter and you like a little pop of something, I love adding these little e.l.f. liquid glitters to the top of any eye look. So my favorite is Flirty Birdie if you want something more of like a golden champagne tone, or Disco Queen. This is the one I use in the TikTok. It's like a beautiful silvery bluish sparkle, and it just amps up any eye look. So I always apply it to the back of my hand first. I never apply it directly with the wand because I have found that when I apply it directly with the wand that it comes with, it tends to break up the shadow underneath of it. So I apply it on the back of my hand like that, and then I take an angled brush like this and I go in with the tip of it. I don't know why, that's just my favorite way to apply it. I think it's because the tip allows me to get like in my inner corner and then lightly feather it out without it getting everywhere. Just picking it up with the tip and using a super light hand. My hand is super far down on the barrel. Tap off any excess on the back of my hand, and then I just start pressing it onto my eye, and I just twinkle it up and out. Take a clean blending brush and just blend out the edges. So before I touch up the wing and all that, I'm just gonna clean up the edges with a makeup wipe just to see if I really have to touch it up, or if I just can't see the vision because the rest of my makeup isn't done. Look at that, that is so satisfying. I'm then gonna take my Physicians Formula eye pen in the shade Brown. I'm gonna put it at the tail of my wing and right at the base of my eyelash. I'll probably end up touching up with this after, but I want to do it now just so I have a bulk of the eye makeup done. So I use the tip of the brush and I just lightly tap it. Ooh, that just does something. From there, I'm gonna go back into the palette and I'm gonna take that dark brown again, but this time with a flat little straight edge brush. With the straight edge again, I'm just going to tap right over top of the liner that we just placed. Just pressing it there first and then bringing it inward. This will help ensure the eyeliner stays nice and smoky. And then I'm gonna take the fluffier shader brush and just tap over that just to make sure the liner isn't too harsh. I'm not moving it around, I'm literally just tapping. And then I'm gonna take some of my Kokie translucent powder to set underneath of my brow bone. This will just help highlight everything and help kind of like smooth out the other transition blending shades. Always go in with a fluffy brush afterward just to make sure everything is blended. This has a little bit left over of the initial blending colors we had earlier. Boom, the eyes are almost done for the most part. Now let's move on to some face makeup. So I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer for underneath of my eye. I forgot how bomb of a concealer this is, especially for the winter time. It's so hydrating, so full coverage. Place my concealer underneath of my eyes, around the sides of my nose, the sides of my mouth, chin, and forehead. I just did a really skinny line down the bridge of my nose to highlight it and to kind of slim it out. I'm like dehydrating and hydrating myself because I have my coffee here that I'm chugging and then I'm chugging my water at the same time. They're like negating each other. Also, I don't know why I drink water so aggressively. I'm gonna pick some more of the concealer up with my beauty sponge and we're gonna blend her out. Lately, I've been liking to do my concealer before my foundation. It just helps make sure that like my under eyes don't get too cakey or heavy looking. And then I find I end up needing like way less foundation. I'm gonna apply a little bit more concealer underneath here because like I always say, whenever I'm filming, these lights are like not forgiving for my dark circles underneath of my eye. Like not ready for allergy season. That's gonna be coming up in February. Seriously the worst. I'm gonna insert a picture of me last allergy season. Oh my gosh, I was literally miserable. My whole face was swollen. I forgot how obsessed I am with the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I used this foundation yesterday and it was like the only foundation that was like melting into my skin completely and not settling in any sort of like dry cracks or crevices. It's such a tried and true. Literally the first video that I ever posted on my channel, I used this foundation. This one is definitely too dark for me right now, but I make it work by bringing my concealer pretty far down, and my concealer is pretty bright, so I don't really use a lot of it. First video was almost 10 years ago. It was 9 years ago. Wait. Yeah, which is pretty crazy considering I'm still a very small YouTuber here. I mean, I wasn't committed to posting consecutive content up until 3 years ago. It's just crazy that it's almost been that long. I love YouTube. I don't think I would ever stop making content on here, but it's just weird. I was thinking about that today, like, it's so crazy how content does well on different avenues. So I've been way more active, like I said, on like TikTok and Instagram. But it's funny because sometimes I'll recycle content and use it across different platforms. And it's funny because a lot of the times what does good on TikTok won't do good on Instagram Reels. What does good on Instagram Reels doesn't do good on TikTok. What does good on YouTube is like doesn't do good on any of the other platforms. So it's just so interesting to see how like the different platforms work and what people on each platform are wanting to see. Then to contour my face, I'm going to be using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade 50. I have been loving to use this to contour because my skin has been so dry. This is like one of the only products that like doesn't skip or get patchy on me lately. It's been so dry and cold. Like literally yesterday was only 12 degrees, but it felt like 0 degrees because of the wind condition, and my skin is like dying for some moisture. On Instagram I asked what were some of you guys' like favorite foundation and concealers that were super hydrating, and I can't wait to try some of them because I really want to switch up my makeup. I need new options. It's weird because in the past like I always shop for more like matte or like foundations for normal combination oily skin, but now it's like I'm needing all the super hydrating stuff. I want something hydrating that will last too. That's the problem. And I just like to tap the contour into my face. That way it doesn't move around or like skip or pick up my foundation. I also like to smile so I can follow my natural kind of like cheekbone like that. I remember editing my first video on my iPhone, showing my mom my first video and her being like, why are you fast forwarding through you applying your eyeshadow? People need to see how to do it. For blush, I'm gonna be applying this e.l.f. blush in the shade Bora Bora, which before I apply it though, I'm gonna mix it with my L'Oreal True Match lotion on the back of my hand. And I got this technique from my sister. She FaceTimed me the other day and was telling me how she uses the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, but she'll mix it with her Rare Beauty liquid blush. I don't have the Rare Beauty liquid blush, so the past few days I've been mixing Flawless Filter with my NARS liquid blush. And oh my gosh, even that combination is stunning. It melts into your skin. It's like the most pretty combination if you are bare face or maybe only doing under eye concealer. And she doesn't claim to be a makeup artist, but like she does her own makeup really, really good. Today I'm gonna be doing the combination with some drugstore options. A blush in Bora Bora. I'm just gonna scoop some out with my nail. Ew, it just got all over the bottom of my nail. Taking about that much, and then I'm taking a little bit of the lotion, and then I'm just working it together on the back of my hand like that. I also like how it kind of like softens the blush, so it's not like super intense, and it literally just looks like your cheeks are naturally flushed. It's the prettiest thing ever. Use it with the liquid blush, it gives way more pretty of a glow, but even with this combo, it's really pretty. Now we have to set our faces. What do I want to do? Oh yeah, to set my face, I'm going to super lightly graze my face with this Aquasurance compact powder. This is so stunning. It reminds me a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filters, except it has a little bit more coverage. Let's use this one by BH Cosmetics. Oh my gosh, do you guys see how stunning of a glow mixing the blush with the Flawless Filter does? I don't want to apply too much powder because I don't want to lose this. So I'm just going to start at the base and just lightly go in circular motions upward. And when I get under my eye, I'm just pressing it inward. And then for underneath of my eyes, I'm gonna set them with my Kokie translucent powder. I love this powder. It's like one of the best powders, like regardless of being drugstore, just literally one of the best powders. So I'm gonna press inward, bring it down my nose, and then bring it back out and then back in. And I always apply my under eye powder with a damp beauty sponge. I just find that it helps it melt into my skin and look more natural. If you're gonna photograph, I think applying it with a powder puff is really good. But for like real life situations, if you want your skin to look smooth, then I would definitely suggest a damp beauty sponge. It just makes it look more skin-like. Lightly clean up underneath of my jaw here. I'm gonna use my go-to, my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Oh no, I forgot to wipe away underneath of my eye. No! Don't go patchy on me. Okay, your ears. For blush, I don't really have a drugstore option per se, but I do have a really affordable option, or a relatively affordable one, and it's my favorite Sephora blush in the shade Over the Moon. This one's $14, high-end, but not like high-end. But I will link down below a really similar one that Flower Beauty carries. Definitely want to start purchasing some so I can share more options with you guys. Same thing with like eyeliners. I don't really have any drugstore eyeliners because, again, working at MAC, my discount would make the eyeliners cheaper than if I were to buy them from like Target or Walmart. So I only own high-end eyeliners for the most part. Not because they're the only good ones, but just because it made sense for me in that time. But that's my mission. I need to find out more drugstore liners and blushes. For highlight, I'm using the famous Wet n Wild highlighter in the shade Precious Petals. And I'm gonna spray my face first with my Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray. I always like to apply my highlighter on like a slightly damp face. I just find it helps it melt into the skin so much better. A little bit of that to the high points of my face. Oh, it's so pretty. Literally breathtaking. Oh, for the lower lash line, I'm just going to take this shade with my shader brush. And I always use a straight edge to catch the fallout and to keep it super precise. So I'm starting in the center and then I'm coming out. And then I'm using that straight edge to line up with my top kind of like wing. And that way, as I blend out the lower lash line shades up, they all flow together super seamlessly. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was touching something blue and now I have blue. Where did that come from? So if you try that straight edge technique, make sure it is clean. Okay, so then I just took a Q-tip with literally my saliva, and then I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and just pat that in. This is real life stuff. Since I don't have a rich brown drugstore eyeliner like I used in the TikTok, I'm gonna take this shade in the palette. It's like a really pretty, almost like burgundy, with a little bit of a brown tone to it. I'm gonna mix it with this shade. I pick that up with a shader brush like this. I'm gonna make sure my brush is nice and wet, and that way I can stamp it onto my waterline and use it as eyeliner. So I have it, the shades on the tip of my brush. I'm just gonna soak my brush, straight edge again to catch any fallout. Oh my gosh, that's actually really pretty. Ooh, that's actually prettier than if I were to have an eyeliner. Holy moly, that's breathtaking. I'm gonna tap some up here too. Just taking whatever's left on my brush with no extra product. I'm lightly tapping just to bring some warmth and dimension to this top area. Literally like barely touching my eye. Do you guys see how breathtaking and pretty that is? I'm gonna do mascara and all of that and touch up my brows in just a second, but for now, let's just get the lip combo out of the way. So to line my lips, I'm gonna use my Maybelline Total Temptation lip pencil in the shade Totally Toffee. And then for the lip color, I'm gonna use this Revlon lip color in the shade Untold Stories. It's such a pretty, like, neutral nude pink. And then once again, I'm gonna apply my Maybelline lip gloss in the shade Stone over top of that. Wow, that's a pretty lip combo. I'm gonna do my mascara off camera. I am gonna be using a drugstore combination. So I'm gonna use my L'Oreal Lash Paradise Primer with my Maybelline False Lash Lift mascara. And I'm gonna curl with my Revlon lash curler and then I'll be right back. Actually, before I forget, I'm gonna take a little bit of the highlight, the Wet n Wild one, and I'm just gonna put a little bit inside here to brighten some more. And here too. And then whatever's left, I'm just gonna lightly tap up here and blend out with my finger. All right, you guys, and here you have it. This is the completed makeup look. I am so happy with how this came out. I think I might like this drugstore version better than the original. It might just be because I took way more time to do do this look, but like my skin looks amazing, this glow. The only thing that threw me off is the brows because I need this brow product in the right shade. When I bought it, my hair was like pitch black. And the mascara is a little clumpy, but my lashes still look super long, and this is with no falsies. Also, this lip combo, like, this was just a win all around. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next. I'll have everything linked down below, as well as my TikTok and Instagram. Make sure to check me out on there, and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!